Coffee Board. On behalf of Atal Incubation Center Coffee Board, I give a warm welcome to the speakers of today's webinar who are part of the Startup Stories webinar series on 29th April 24. Before we start, I would like to introduce Atal Incubation Center for the benefit of the speakers and the participants. Atal Incubation Center of Coffee Board was established in 2020 at the Coffee Board head office at Bengaluru in collaboration with Central Coffee Research Institute, CCRI, and Atal Innovation Mission. Our AIC is known as a Center for Entrepreneurship Development, and it largely focuses on nurturing innovative startups in the coffee sector. I would now like to introduce the first speaker of today's session, Mr. Ashish Rao. Mr. Ashish Rao is a mechanical engineer with 13 plus years of experience in the oil and gas industry, working as a corrosion engineer. He has done his post-graduation in corrosion engineering from University of Manchester in UK and has also recently completed post-graduation diploma in data science. He started his journey in the coffee sector 4 years ago when they bought the plantation at Cork. Since then, he has been working towards bringing technology at every stage of the farm to cup journey. On behalf of Atal Incubation Center and the participants, I hereby give a warm welcome to the first speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Ashish Rao of Kia Coffee OPC Private Limited. I now request Mr. Ashish Rao to kindly start the presentation.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ashish here. I hope I'm audible and my presentation is visible.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you so much. So, like I was introduced, I'm the founder of Kia Coffee. Before I start on the venture and how I got into it and things like that, I just wanted to explain what Skia means. Skia is basically a Greek word which means shade or under the shade. So like how all our coffee is grown under shade trees, which is our specialty, Skia represents that. That's where the name Skia comes from. It's a Greek word. Having said that, today I will be talking mainly about introducing, giving a brief background about Skia Coffee, what we do, how it all began, why Skia Coffee, journey, what we have done till date, what we intend to do, what are some of the challenges that we are facing, and the kind of support and collaboration we have had during these few years we have been working in the coffee sector. So to give a brief background, like when I was introduced, the background that I was given was that I'm basically a mechanical engineer, and I have been working for the oil and gas industry for the last 13, 14 years as a corrosion engineer. And my background has been mainly in engineering. I've worked in Middle East, in India, in the UK, but all along I was interested in agriculture. And I have always wanted to be in agriculture, but unfortunately, I didn't have the required farmer certificate or the so-called PANI, which is required, which used to be required in Karnataka to own an agriculture land or a wet land. But so was not the case for a plantation or a land which was defined as plantation. The same was not required, and that's how I got introduced to a coffee plantation. And bought a small plot of land about 4 years ago. This was about 1.5 acres. Just to start the passion which I had. And then I slowly realized that there are a lot of gaps and a lot of unscientific processing methods which are involved in the complete supply chain, in the complete processing of coffees. I saw that there was no reason behind so many things that was being done at the farm level. There was not really any exposure to technology in the whole sector as such. And that's where I started working more. And that's how Skia Coffee was born. To bridge those gaps, to bring in technology in the coffee sector. And today we have about 8 acres of the farmland. We have expanded. We have kept on increasing our the area. We have our own processing unit, which I'll be talking about that in some time. And we have also collaborated with various local farmers in and around our plantation, from whom we buy the fruits and do all the processing at our estate. That's how we are able to achieve quantity. That's some background about us. So why Skia Coffee? Skia Coffee initially, like I said, was founded to address the lack of transparency and scientific approach at the farm level. Our mission is to elevate coffee quality and ensure ethical practices in this industry at the grassroots level. Now, whether it is farm practices or post-harvest processing methods, or is it the supply chain, we are working on all aspects. Now, this blockchain innovation, which I'm talking about, is on the traceability of the coffee beans in terms of from which area it has come from, what was the rainfall, what was the kind of fertilizers used, when was the harvesting done, what processing has it gone through. All these can be traced back, to the exact farm from where the coffee has come from. So this is something which we have developed. So this is just an example as to when we talk about scientific approach at the farm level. So this was the problem statement, where the coffee quality and sourcing ethics weren't often opaque. The consumers and business crave for transparency and excellency. And this is the exact challenge or the problem statement that we are trying to solve, but starting from the grassroots level at the farm level. So on the right hand side, sorry, let me just minimize this. You see what this is, the screenshot of the application, which is a bean tracker application, which is an in-house developed application which talks about the coffee. It can be tracked to the region, the species, the elevation, the flowering date, the kind of fertilizer info, what was the weather pattern. Similarly, for processing, hulling, if we usually do up to green beans, we do a lot of experimental processes. But if there are roasters or cafes who want their roasting curves and their data also to be available, then we can make these available in the same application. There will be a QR code. On scanning those QR code, all these data are available to be accessed by the end customer or somebody who is using these beans at the cafes. So this is one application which we have developed. Then we are also coming up with another green bean marketplace. So an application where anybody can just look at what kind of green beans they are wanting, what is available, and they can order the same online. We have set up our own processing unit. Most of it, we are working towards automation, reducing labor, reducing the processing time. So you see a lot of bucket elevators. We have a fruit color sorter to make sure only the right fruits are processed for all our specialty coffees. We mainly deal with specialty coffee and experimental processings only. It is difficult when you buy coffees from various farms. It's very difficult to control the amount of unripe fruits that are harvested, and that's why we have invested on um, fruit color sorters, pre-cleaners. We have polyhouse for controlled drying. Uh, all these data are recorded. All the data are continuously monitored so that we can use it for quality development. We have in-house hulling, uh, cleaning, all these options. We have various fermentation tanks. All the fermentation tanks have the capabilities of recording the temperature, pressure, the pH levels, and all these data are recorded. So this is how our processing unit, drying, and the hulling, it all happens at our farm itself. Now, the journey, the initial setup, like I explained, was started with buying of the land, and from there we have moved towards expanding of the uh, land as such, the different varieties that are grown, the different farmers with which we have collaborated, so that we have different types of Robustas, different types of Arabica, and this year we have included other varieties also. Um, in terms of farm, then we have expanded our processing capabilities, different processes, uh, whether it is lactic fermentation, anaerobic fermentation, yeast fermentation, honey processes. We have done some, we have tried cherries, frozen cherries. Different experimental processes are being tried on different varieties and seeing how it impacts on the final flavor profile, on the cupping profile of the coffees, and all these are being done at the farm. Now, we found a lot of technical hurdles in understanding how these processes will impact, and one thing we realized is it can be analyzed, it can be determined only if we have the data available, the data as to what changed, which caused an impact on a particular uh, process or particular profile. And so integration of all these data is something which we are currently working on, and we strongly believe that data from the farm level up to the final consumer, all put together and analyzed, will give a better understanding as to what impacts the final product and how much of an impact it has. Um, Market entry was obviously a challenge because we are not a traditional planter. We have come from a very different background, and fortunately, I've met a lot of like-minded people, and there are various companies who appreciate the kind of work we are doing. And although specialty coffee market has been very competitive, but the innovation and the scientific approach has actually helped us break into the market, and uh, we we strongly believe that the innovation, the marketing strategies, and the strong B2B relationship that we have has helped us break into the market. We started with only 50 kgs of green beans being sold about 3 years, and we now sell more than 3 tons of specialty coffee beans at the moment. That has been the growth of our specialty coffee beans. We have some of our clients that I would like to highlight are Blue Turquoise, Max Coffee, Naivo Cafe, Rosette, Sunshine Enterprises, and many more. But these are some of them which I took the liberty to highlight here. We've had, like I said, collaborations with local farmers, agricultural experts to promote sustainable practices, not only in our farm, but in a lot of our partner farms. We've made sure that they stop using harmful chemicals, weed killers, and at the same time, they are compensated with higher price for the fruits which they harvest and supply to us, and also the data that they maintain. So it also helps the local farmers not to, worry actually about rains, about drying, how they can dry if there are, these unseasonal rains, and these kind of issues gets negated for them. So that's also a plus point for the small scale farmers. And these have been some of our collaborative initiatives. Market support, we have received substantial support through Atal Incubation, and we've been able to showcase at the World Coffee Conference last year. We were also at the Seoul Cafe Show last November, and because of that, we have had some international inquiries this year and are hoping to supply for some of the cafes internationally also this year. We have sent out samples. We've got a good feedback, and we are in the midst of finalizing few orders internationally also this year. So B2B channels and customer loyalty is helping us build a strong market presence. That's mostly from my end and what I wanted to share with you about our journey and where we stand. I'm open to questions. If anybody would like to know more, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashish sir, for that very insightful session. For the benefit of the participants, I would like to inform that we will have a common Q&A session, sir, at the end of the second speaker session for the last 20 minutes.
Thank you.
So thank you once again, Ashish sir, for the wonderful presentation. Now, I would move on to introducing the second speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Venturesh B, partner of BCV Global Ventures. Mr. Venturesh B is a dynamic agrochemical industry leader with nearly 20 years of international and Indian experience. He is an agriculture graduate from NG Ranga University and has done his MBA from GBP College of Management Studies, Visakhapatnam. He has worked with several multinationals like Syngenta, Dow Agro, UPL, and FMC in agri-chemicals domain, and rose to senior positions with proven track record of good execution skills, driving strategy, conceptualization, and P&L management. He possesses an entrepreneurial mindset with a constant focus on profitability and performance improvement. He has also done his global executive MBA from ISB, Hyderabad. Currently, he is a partner in BCV Global Ventures and the founder of BeanX, a B2B aggregator platform for coffee and other related agricultural commodities. So once again, on behalf of AIC and the participants, we give a warm welcome to the second speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Venturesh B. Now, I request Mr. Venturesh to start his presentation.
Thanks, Mr. Anant, for the introduction. Thank you very much. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. As introduced by Mr. Anant, I'm Venkatesh, and of course, he has given an elaborate introduction already. So currently, I will speak about our venture which we have incubated with Coffee Board of India and has been growing steadily. BCB Global Ventures, let me share my screen so that you can also look at my PowerPoint presentation. Is my presentation on here?
Yes, sir. It is visible now, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, BCB Global was started in the year, operations have been started in the year 2021. And we started our venture with procurement, trading, and exports of coffee and spices. In the procurement, we were actually going to the farmers. In fact, our journey started at Araku. And at Araku, we have been working with a couple of farmer producer organizations where we also certified them with Rainforest Alliance certification, because at that point of a time, Rainforest Alliance was limited to some of the estates in major areas. And Araku and Koraput areas were supposed to be non-traditional areas for coffee. So in these non-traditional areas, the focus was limited to very, very, very few players. And we thought there should be some value addition for this coffee in spite of its brand. Then we ventured into getting our first Rainforest Alliance certification for one farmer producer company, which we collaborated with them. And then this Rainforest has given us, customers like Tata Coffee and companies like Walam. We started working with the big companies right from the beginning onwards. So over a period of time, then we realized that the area didn't have much of seamless supply chain solution. But it is very much fragmented because the farmers' holdings are very small. Farmers have been scattered into small villages, hamlets, where it is very difficult to procure from them. Likewise, when you see even some of the other large holdings like estates or some of the northeastern areas, we see a very fragmented supply chain in case of coffee collection. And also, there is a lot of complaint from the farmers or the growers where they say, for the final end products get a very good price, where they look at, price in cafes. But when they sell their product at the farm gate, they get very low realization. So this led us to think like there is an, requirement of a transactional platform wherein we can reduce the gap between the farmer and the consumer on transactions front, as well as realization of better price for farmers. It's not just that, we wanted other players also to be on the board, wherein exporters can procure directly from the farmers by reducing the number of layers in between. And we thought of, then we came out with our solution, which is called VNex. It's a new age super app. It's developed based on emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain. Like Ashish was also saying, in coffee, the traceability and trackability is very important because the consumer wants to know where this coffee has come from, how this, coffee has been processed. There are certain things where the consumers are very keen about. So we wanted to make this a platform, and we included all the participants like farmers, importers, exporters, and then also, creating a channel or a platform for making seamless transactions, so that there will be a trust that will be there between both buyers and sellers. In usually many transactions, there is a trust deficit between two parties. We wanted to reduce that trust deficit by creating smart contracts with the help of blockchain. So then this is our USP. We aggregate the small holders to sell it to the large companies, wherein large companies don't need to, deploy many people to get the produce so that they can reduce on their procurement expenditure, while farmers benefits on uh, the value realized or the price realization. So this is typically what our ecosystem looks like. We are blending our technology, our expertise with the technology to bring the platform to all the stakeholders of the industry, wherein sometimes the farmer knows that his coffee is good, but as a single lot, he may not be able to sell it at a better price. That's when our Q graders will help them to certify that coffee with various parameters. As you know, the coffee quality analysis is done by Q graders, and they will be able to define the lot with particular parameters. And when the buyer is interested in that lot, he can pick that lot at a higher price or quote better price than what exists in the market. So in a way, we will be helping them. Eventually, of course, we will be helping them with imports, finance, and also advisory services to enhance the value or enhance the productivity of their farms, as well as other value additions. And our future is to, expand globally and also build an ecosystem for other commodities based on our what do you call the traction. The support from AIC has been very nice and phenomenal. We participated in World Coffee Conference 2023 that was organized last year, and we have got access to a lot of estates and even other farm producer companies, and even the overseas companies which have been looking at some kind of a model or associations in India. So these are we got an access to good market penetration. So this is a brief about our startup. But however, I also faced some challenges while bringing up this platform, because as you could see, I come from a science background rather than a tech background. So this building of a technical or a transactional platform involves the digital space. So I had to collaborate with a technical team to get this happen. So for a non-technical guy, this is a little bit of a challenge. I'm not sure how many people in the participants are non-technical, but today the technology is the leverage for any of the startup, to expand itself and bring it to attraction. So that's when we also realized, there should be a right team with good commitment. That is when you want to expand, you will be having access to good funding, and all the team should share a good vision about your future plans. Okay. So a couple of other learnings, personal learnings, I would say, when you are getting into association with other partners or other co-founders, think of negotiating on different aspects other than equity. Of course, I'm not saying like you should not dilute, but equity should be a last option to dilute, because these learnings, would give you a very, tremendous challenges as you move forward. Okay, so and then networking is very important, is what I realized, and that network I've got through AIC, because you'll have access to the complete coffee ecosystem, or exporters or importers or technology because of Coffee Board. That was a very good platform where we positioned ourselves to position ourselves in this platform. So I'm not sure if this these tips would help at this moment. Based on your questions, we can always get back to you on this. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. I'm more or less I'm open for any questions. This is a brief about our company and what we are doing. If there are, I'll be more open to questions as we go on.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Venkatesh, for the wonderful presentation done from your side about your journey. Now, we are open for any questions for both the speakers. I would request the participants to please ask their queries one after the other by either raising their hand or typing it in the chat box. And please mention the name of the speaker to whom you are posing the query. Mr. Venkatesh, this is Anant here. I would like to ask a question. Given the current scenario, how has been your experience in procuring the coffee in Andhra and Korakot, I mean, in Arku Valley, and considering the importance given by the state governments there to grow more of coffee, and with your technology, how has been your experience?
I would say experience is mixed because, as you know, in our model, we have hullers who will be, aggregating, the material. We aggregate the material from our platform and put it at a huller base. However, this huller base is again predominantly there in Karnataka. So we have only one or two hullers in that area. So we are still, in discussions with the government to provide us some common collection centers, so that will be even valuable for farmers there. It has got its own challenges in getting these people onto the technological platform, and then they themselves participating into using this technology so that we could leverage the aggregation part and then sending it to Hello. But as you said, the government is very keen in supporting this. I think in future it will give us good realizations, because the previous government, the previous bureaucrats who were there were very much keen on implementing this at the traditional, non-traditional areas. However, when you have this with the government, they have frequent changes, and that that changes would change the entire scenario. So probably we are back to square one, because the previous the district color of the collector was very cooperative. But when he changed, now we are getting back to square one, because we need to start this from the beginning. But otherwise, it has got a good scope, and we'll be able to do it better this year.
Thank you, Mr. Venkatesh, for that detailed explanation about the coffee procurement in Andhra and Odisha state. Now we move on. I would have one more question to Mr. Ashish. Sir, what has been your current experience in this year, given the fact that the prices of both Arabica and Robusta are at an all-time high, and your focus on specialty coffee that you're supplying to coffee chains like Blue Tokai, has the realization been very good? And also, what are the plans for the new financial year 2024-25?
To be very frank, we've not commented much on the price variation in terms of commercial in comparison with the specialty coffee. I know the commercial market itself is giving a good rate. However, we've been it is case to case basis, but we've been very open and I strongly believe it is not fair to compare with the commercial prices, because it's so when the commercial prices are low and we say we have put in a lot of efforts and this is the rate we are asking, because the processing, the type of efforts and the type of the work that goes behind specialty coffee is different, and these are the rates. And now since the commercial rates go up, we increase the specialty rates. It doesn't make sense. That's how I perceive it. And so I've been very open about it. We have more or less maintained the same rates as last year, whatever we gave for the specialty coffee rates, irrespective of the commercial one, because I strongly believe that it cannot be compared. And that's how I would like to put it. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a query from Mr. Dinu Nanjappa. If we are looking for more knowledge and process about obtaining Rainforest Alliance certification, will you help us?
I can for sure refer you to the right people. I've also inquired about it. I've also worked around it. I can surely share whatever knowledge I have. I'm open to that.
Thank you, sir. We request the next participant to unmute and ask the question. JC.
Hello.
So yes.
Hi. Hi everyone. So my question is to Skia Coffee. Hi. So when you say big data, right? So you're going to collect data. Can you just give a quick introduction about what are the major variables that you're going to consider? Because when you say big data, right from the day we take it out for processing, and the temperatures, the morning and night temperature variations, the patios or the raised bed. So there are many variables that come into play.
Correct.
If when you take about the batches, so can you just let us know that what are the key areas on which, like, what are the key points on which you're going to record your data? Thank you.
Thanks. So the data which is being currently recorded is even before the processing. Also, the post-harvest processing, whether in terms of what was the rainfall pattern, what was the fertilizers used, etc., etc. But post-harvest, so when was it harvested? What process for, let's say, the date on which it was harvested, from then on, if it was an anaerobic process, then what was the temperature? Currently, we are recording at every 4 hours. But there are some data missing during the night. So we are trying to implement recorders, which currently it's manual and we are trying to automate that. But what was, if there was any pressure change, what was the pH changes every day? Then what was the Brix value of the solution? And then it goes on to the drying bed. Then the time duration, when it goes to the drying bed, what were the temperatures throughout the day, the humidity factor, and the number of days it was on the drying table. So these are some of the data which are being captured for all the processes that are being done.
So when you say that, like maybe you also need to consider the rainfall, the Brix value, also the elevation, the plot size, and many others will come into play.
Yeah,
And also the most important part is the copper, because whatever data you provide, the ultimately the feedback is from the copper. Is that
very
right?
true. Now, how is this affecting the cupping score? The flavor profile is what we are trying to find out. If, let's assume, this year we have changed the type of fertilizer, and everything else remains the same. Will it have an effect on the cupping profile? I don't have an answer for that yet to give you, but that is the kind of
I think the connection of Mr. Ashish is not there. We'll just wait till he comes
No,
back.
no, I'm there, sir.
So, okay. So that is the,
Yeah, it was disconnected. Yeah, I mean,
okay, we couldn't, yeah, here for a few seconds, sir. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm not sure.
yeah, it's really a great initiative. I mean, over the time, this will
Yeah.
mature and will come up with like, yeah, it will be really very, because in if you take in the IT sector, like we are doing the big data for many things. I mean, this we start today. Yes, this has really big potential. Good
So
luck.
we're just trying to see what is the correlation between a certain factor and the actual cupping score. Now, we've done some experiments also to see if the actual uh, chemically, is there any correlation between the flavor profile that has been talked about by the cupper and the actual chemical profile of the coffee? So those are some kind of correlations that we have looked at. I hope I was audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. If that query is completed, then we can move on to the next participant for the next query. Request the other participants to ask if they have any specific queries to either of the two speakers. Yeah, sir, I have a query on behalf of AIC to both the speakers. Sir, how was the support from your family members when you started your startup journey, sir? If Mr. Ashish can say first and then Mr. Venkatesh.
Well, that's a very essential requirement, to be very frank. It's family who have supported, and it's not only the financial support that I have received to buy the land, the initial land and everything from where the whole journey started, but in terms of all kinds of support, you're away from the family for long months during the coffee season. I'm almost 3-4 months at the farm. My wife has a different job where uh, she has to stay in a different state. So I strongly believe that you need a complete support from your family, whether it is in all aspects, and understanding way before you even get into this, so that you are able to achieve what you want to. Without this support, it is going to be very difficult.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
sir.
could share this. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
please go ahead, Mr. Venkatesh.
Yeah, I do share the same opinion as of Ashish. Uh, you know, family support is very, very critical. For us, we might be taking risk at our, to focus on what we wanted to do in life. But without their support, it would be really impossible, I would say. One, it is financial risk. The financial risk, anyway, we are ready to take it up because with a certain kind of a fund in your hand. But it is not you who is getting into compromise at certain lifestyles, but it is also your family. Whoever is enterprising. So, your family must support you in all ways, not just financially, but also by keeping you motivated, and they get themselves keeping themselves motivated in spite of the hardships, because, no startup will actually make any kind of what do you call inflection within the first 3 years. If somebody is successful within a year or two, that damn lucky. I wouldn't say it would be more than 5 or 10% out of the 100. So family is very, very crucial and critical, and without their consent, um, getting into this entrepreneurship may not be a very good idea though also. And that's my 2 cents.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Venkatesh. Now, moving on, we have one more question to the speakers. Sir, do you have any mentors for your startup? And also, who are the key people who assisted you during the difficult times as an entrepreneur?
Okay, I'll go first. So mentorship has been in various forms. Now, there are a lot of mentors from the AIC also who have helped me. There have been situations where at the farm level, I'm not getting a good answer, and I've approached Coffee Board, and they have in turn helped me with some expert from their field office, or so there have been various support I've received over the years in terms of mentorship and helping me understand what exactly needs to be done and what is happening. So yeah, that's been my experience in terms of mentorship.
Yeah, Mr.
I think,
Venkatesh?
sorry, there was a second part also to this question.
Yeah, but actually, I said who assisted you during the difficult times as an entrepreneur? That was the
Sure.
second
Okay.
point.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, that's mostly from my end.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Venkatesh, would you like to share your experience?
Yeah, sure. It's very important, or it's also necessary to have a mentor in the beginning of the venture itself. For us, of course, we started without a mentor, but eventually, as and when required, Coffee Board has been helpful on certain aspects where we were struck, for networking or other critical things. But why a mentor would help you is, as I realized over a period of time, is he can give you a structured approach, so that it's always important to fail fast. Not to fast fail, but not to fail fast means in the sense, if your idea is working or not, you will be able to figure it out in the first few months. And if first few months is giving you good feedback from all your ecosystem where you're working in, that's a good time to take it forward. This is what a mentor can help you in the very beginning. I would suggest to have a mentor right from the beginning itself, rather than burning our hands first and then looking for a mentor to restart the whole process.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Venkatesh. Sir, one last question. What tips would you like to give to the first-time entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs? You had some points with you, sir, Mr. Venkatesh.
Yeah. See, again, I'll put the 4 or 5 points which we have learned it in a hard way. But this would be very much helpful for the first-time entrepreneurs. If you're a 2x or a 3x entrepreneur, this may not be very relevant. But if you're coming into the entrepreneurship now, I would always suggest to see what's actually driving to you to the entrepreneurship. There are many theories which say, I'm tired of job. I have a lot of passion in this industry. I wanted to create something new. I want to make so much money. There are a lot of people going for, venture capital funds and getting big money. So the motive could be anything, but ultimately, when you are struck at some point, you should realize and go back to a point why you are actually wanted to be an entrepreneur. Why did you want to be an entrepreneur? So that motive should drive you in spite of any hardships, because it's not the same plain path what we think in the beginning. Everything is a rough patch. So I would also suggest the people to look at themselves as, are you kind of an entrepreneur or an investor? Because sometimes people confuse being entrepreneur and investor. Investor can put his money elsewhere, make money. Okay, entrepreneur has to drive everything back himself. He is a one-man show, or he should be the kingpin for his team, who drives that force to bring the enterprise to a clear path. So I would say understanding self is better first, and then understanding the business is later. So anytime if an entrepreneur is coming into the business, if the entrepreneur is starting his own venture, I would suggest fix your resources first. What is your going to be, how much time you're going to give for this? But at the same time, don't leave it as a 3 inches to gold kind of story where you've almost done it and then you got tired of it and left it to someone. It shouldn't be that kind of a story, but give yourself a good time to understand your business, yourself, and then your industry, and then also equip yourself with some kind of a money. Usually, people say 1 year, but I would also say, put less money into the business initially, but drive in as and more important. You should self-sustain at least 18 to 24 months without getting any revenues from your business. Okay, on the top of it, you will be investing into it. So this is one more thing we should be mentally ready, apart from your family support for the same thing. And you're building your right team. Most of the times I've seen, if somebody has cracked a venture capital deal, the first thing I've seen is having a brilliant idea is one thing, but the other one is how well you execute that brilliant idea. What is the skill set in your team? What is the skill set in you? How is it actually leveraging your core competences? So these will actually drive others to invest in you. So building your team and skill is also very, very important. Get your business plan ready in the beginning itself, wherein do your complete financial modeling, pitch deck, and then approach the VCs. Our early revenues will actually help you to secure the deals of the funds. But whatever it is, whatever the odds that you have in your journey, your perseverance and grit is only the solution for any challenges that comes in your way. So my 2 cents to this would be, equip yourself in all ways, be ready mentally and be strong mentally. This is what is important. I'm not scaring you, but at the same time, this is what is going to drive you for a long term.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the detailed explanation. Sir, one related question to either of the two speakers. Can you share the details of some mistakes that you could have avoided when you started your entrepreneurship journey? And also what lessons you learned from your mistakes? Some insights.
Maybe I'll go with it first if Ashish is okay.
Yeah, please.
So in my case, I think, as I said, this comes from my experience. Equity dilution should be the last option. So I'm not saying like don't give equity to anyone, but they should add a lot of value to your startup or your idea, and see that your team aligns to your strategy or aligns to your common vision. That is very important. Today, the biggest challenge I've seen some of my colleagues or some of my friends face is getting a good co-founder. So getting a good team and co-founder who is aligned to your vision and commitment is the most important thing. I think from my experience, that's what the challenge I faced, and probably everybody could take care of their, making a nice team. They would have come out of with better results.
Yeah, thank you, sir. For the benefit of the participants, I would like you to visit our website of our Hotel Incubation Center, www.AICCCRI.in. It is mentioned in the chat box. In case if there are no other queries, then I think we can move on to the concluding session of the vote of thanks to be given by my colleague, Ms. Vaishnavi.
A very good evening, everyone. I extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Ashish Rao and Mr. Ventesh for their enlightening sessions on the Venturespark Startup Stories webinar series. On behalf of AIC CCRI, we thank them for sharing their expertise and passion for entrepreneurship. Their invaluable contributions are deeply appreciated, and we look forward to future collaborations. I would thank all the participants for attending this webinar. Thank you all.
On this note, we conclude the session.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all.